Hey guys, welcome back to SuperMarcelWorld. Today I'm doing a retro review for Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Now it's no way near as good as the original two masterpieces by James Cameron, but honestly I've always had a soft spot for T3. I see it in its own universe, and in that way I really do like it, even with its flaws. So let's stop talking and start with the retro review for Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Here we go! The story. Apparently, Judgment Day is inevitable. Once again, two machines are sent from the future to our present to kill and protect John Connor, the future leader of the resistance in the war against the machines. One machine is here to protect, the other is here to kill. The deadly TX is not only here to kill John, but also his future wife Kate and his future lieutenants.
Catherine Brewster, have you sustained injury?
Drop that, you asshole!
I'm unable to comply.
What I like. Spectacle. The film had some really big shoes to fill. Probably the biggest shoes to fill ever. And I feel you can really tell that they gave it their all. I absolutely love the action in this film. Especially that long chase scene in the city. With Arnold hanging on the crane and the TX ramming him through buildings. And with the fire truck explosion and cables. And it's insane. I absolutely love it. There are also a few very cool battles between the two deadly machines. One outside the vet clinic, which is a little short, but it is awesome. And near the end there's a longer one when they go try to save Kate's father. They have this awesome battle ramming each other through walls and even to toilets. Yeah, I love it. The TX, the deadlier advanced model, the TX played by Kristanna Loken, is an awesome new Terminator. It's got an endoskeleton like Arnold's, but it has a cover of liquid metal like the T-1000 from Terminator 2. So it's a combination of the Terminators that we've seen before, but she's also able to connect to other machines. And she also has this plasma gun in her arm, built in underneath the liquid metal, which is very clever, because if you remember correctly, no guns could come through the time travel device. I always thought that it would have been cool if the liquid metal and the endoskeleton could separate into two separate Terminators, giving her that much more even more advancements. They didn't use it, however, they did this in Terminator Dark Fate, which is an absolute turd of a movie, but still, that fact and the Rev 9 was pretty cool. The visuals. Director Jonathan Mostow leaves James Cameron's cold blue vibe from T2 behind and creates a rich, colorful, high contrast world of spectacle. It's an unusual choice for a Terminator. I love the more darker look. It does set T3 apart, of course, that's what it does, but I don't feel this colorful and bright style fits the Terminator world. I think it should be moody and dark and dreadful, as if the world is resting on your shoulders only. So this whole bright world, as cool and as great as it looks, I don't think it really fits the Terminator mood. The effects, camera angles, costumes and action sequences are all executed very nicely, and the overall look of the film is really good. I just wish it was darker. Hey! You gonna pay for that?
Talk to the hand.
Mixed feelings. Now Arnold in this film, as always, he's in terrific, amazing shape. And he had to look the exact same way as he did in T2 and T1. Because that model, well, by now it does, but back then that model doesn't age. It's the same model, same make, and it has to look the exact same way. So they did an amazing job of having the older Arnold Schwarzenegger look nearly as good. I think they did a really good job, but you could still see it a little bit, which is okay, because, you know, it's still a movie and they made him look as good as possible, and Arnold himself pumped himself up back to T2 and T1 style, which is just absolutely amazing. So he was in terrific shape and it definitely shows. However, that being said, in some scenes and some sequences, he does look older. It's as if the facelift kind of wore out or something. I don't know. And also his eyebrows has some white hair. So whenever they do a close-up, especially in the scene when he just broke down and he's frozen and they kind of zoom in on his head, you see those white hairs inside of his eyebrows, and I'm like, nobody saw that? Really? It's a small thing, but I noticed small stuff like that and it really bugs me. And another thing that kind of bugs me is he's really tanned. In the previous films, he was pale, like I guess he should be. He's a machine, so he shouldn't look like he's been sunbathing for hours and hours.
'Cause 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 '
what I don't like. Bits and errors. I'll do it really fast because these are minor details that I really didn't like. So all these tiny bits, I'm gonna put them together. I'm gonna talk real fast to get through them. Here we go. The TX sampling blood. She finds out it's not John Connors' DNA. So out loud, she says, no. Why would she say that? She's alone? She doesn't need to say that to anyone. It doesn't make sense. I thought it was really weird. She's alone there in that room, nobody to talk to, and even if there was someone, she wouldn't talk to anyone. Really weird. The T-800 spinning out the bullet. Lame. L-A-M-E. Lame. Ugh. The corrupted T-800. Now this could have been really cool, because this would have been the first time that we saw Arnold as the evil Terminator once again. But they totally messed this up. Because he wasn't scary, he wasn't intimidating, he was kind of like fighting himself, so he was shaking like that. And just that just takes all the tension out of it. He should just be all corrupted, go for the kill, like he was in the Terminator 1. That would have been so awesome. And also Arnold delivers that one line really bad. I love the guy, but this line that he said, to quote, "The TX has corrupted my system." Could have been cool, but he said, "The TX has corrupted my system." And it's so hokey and it's weird. It totally misses it. And those are the moments where I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't have happened with James Cameron around. But hey, he's totally behind Terminator Dark Fate, and a lot of shit happens there that, wow. So, the old James Cameron. Let's talk the old James Cameron, the one that was really good. Anyways, then his system freezes and he just looks silly. John asking the T-800 if he remembers him from the previous time he saw him. Hasta la vista, remember any of that? No, it's the same model, but a different type of that model. They come from an assembly line. He knew that. He absolutely knew that. Don't tell me that Sarah knew and she wouldn't have told her son. Bullshit. He knew, so him asking the Terminator, do you even remember me? Any of that? What? I'm so surprised that no one on set, no one in the writing room knew this. Even Arnold should have said, you know, maybe Jonathan, this is not correct, because John would know that we come from an assembly line. The T-800 grabbing John by the throat, lifting him up, because apparently anger is more useful than despair. Yeah, apparently, as the T-100 reveals a moment later, basic psychology is part of his subroutines. Yeah. So you were just thinking with me? Can someone cut that shit out, please? The TX could have killed Kate at the cemetery easily, but no. First, she had to morph from her fiancé's look back to her endoskeleton look, and then back to the TX's Kristana Loken look. Yeah, that kinda took like 10 seconds, which she easily could have used to blast Kate away. But she didn't. Her doing that makes her less effective, and it's really lame, cause a machine would be smarter than that, wouldn't she? The T-800's outfit is very similar, almost exact, as the one he had in Terminator 2. That's a little bit a big of a coincidence, don't you think? I don't. That's it. You know, he looked cool, but that always bugged me. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But hey, in T2 he had a similar leather jacket as he did in the second half of T1. So yeah, go figure. John's voiceover in the beginning of the film messes up his age. Here he says that during the events of T2 he was 13 years old. No, John was 10 years old during the events of Terminator 2. How could they get this wrong? How? Rest in peace, Sarah Connor. I wasn't a big fan of her being killed off. Well, you know, this wasn't a great exit for the character whatsoever. She died of leukemia. Well, that could happen to anyone, of course. However, what I did like is the doctors told her she had 6 months and she fought for 3 years in order to see if Judgment Day would happen or not. Now that sounds like Sarah Connor. It even gives me goosebumps. I love that part. Now, I didn't like the fact that they killed Sarah Connor, but hey, it's better than having her recast with some other actress. Not counting the Terminator TV show, because I really like what Lena Headey did, but that's also in its own universe. But I wouldn't have liked it if they would have recasted Sarah in T3 with a different actress. That wouldn't have worked for me, no. Hey, and what do we know? Maybe she wasn't dead, because her coffin was filled with guns, and the T-800 says she was cremated in Mexico. But maybe she wasn't dead after all. Maybe if T3 was a bigger hit, they would have continued that, and they would have got Sarah back, Lynn Hamilton back for the role. Maybe, you never know. If the paycheck is big enough, I'm sure she'll say yes. Just take a look at Dark Fate. You're not saying that it's the script, right, that brought you back. It's the paycheck, we know. It's okay. Too light in tone. Another thing that really bugs me, which really destroys the dark, heavy Terminator mood, is the amounts of comedic moments in this film. It happened in T2, it happened in T1, but those were minor bits here and there to brighten the mood for just a second. This film really goes overboard with these moments, and while I might like 2 or 3 of those, it really goes overboard and has too much comedic moments. You know, I like the part where he said to the guy, "Talk to the hand." I really like that. I thought it was fun. I could accept that, no problem. However, what I didn't like were those star-shaped glittery glasses that he puts on. He apparently knows that there are some glasses in there. He grabs them, puts them on, and oh come on, what the fuck is this? Really? Another thing that contributes to the film's lighter tone is the lack of gore and blood. This film is rated R, but you can't really tell. It has one moment where you go like, oh, that's cool, that's bloody. And you know, Terminator has never been about rolling heads and chopping heads off and stuff like that. But still, it's about killing machines, killing anyone that gets in their way, Jason Voorhees style. And it's about the end of humanity. So a movie that heavy and that dark, why make it PG-13, or why not show the goods? And this film wasn't PG-13, this film was rated R, but you can't tell except for that one scene. It might as well be PG-13, because you can't really tell it's rated R.
Get down!
Most magical moment. Well, it's gotta be the chase scene. I think it's about 10 minutes long, it's insane, it's over the top, spectacular, awesome, a little bit funny here and there. The T-X chases John in this big, giant, yellow crane. I absolutely love it. It's spectacular. My absolute favorite part of the movie.
John Connor. It is time.
Did you know? T-X versus the T-1000. In one of the Terminator 3 comic books, there's a fight between the T-X and the T-1000. Well, I can't really call it a fight, because the T-X uses that plasma gun and boom, splatters the T-1000 in pieces, and he doesn't grow back, he's done. Sgt Candy. In a deleted scene we meet Sgt Candy. This is the guy where the T-800 Terminators are based on, so this is where the T-800 got the Arnold look. Sgt Candy. Sure, he looks cool because it's Arnold, but he has a southern accent, and in the boardroom one of the big guys says, "I don't know about that voice." And then a scientist says in Arnold voice, "We can fix it." So yeah, they got the look from Sgt Candy and they got the voice from the scientist guy. Funny, I guess, if this was a comedy, but it's not, so I'm glad it was cut out. Overall, T3 is awesome, but no way near as good as T1 or T2. But I think it holds its own. It's awesome in its own way, even with its lesser elements. I still have a soft spot for T3. I see it in its own separate universe, and I always enjoy it. The action is amazing, the cast is alright, and I think it's absolutely the best one since T2. Ever since T2 they just went down with each movie. Jonathan Mostow handles the action and storytelling nicely. He gives the film a unique, brighter look, which just doesn't really fit Terminator mood, if you ask me. Arnold is once again great as the T-800, even though he does have a few slippery moments. The film has plenty of spectacular moments and eye candy, but it's the lighter tone and the comedic elements that keep it from greatness. I give Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines 7 out of 10 T-X's. Yeah! So yeah, that's it for now guys, thanks so much for watching. How do you feel about Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines? Let me know below, we'll talk. If you have the time, hit the like button, subscribe, check out some of my other videos which you kinda might like, you never know. And of course, as always, I hope to see you back next time. Bye!